I wanted to add something to the beginning of this video. Um, this video is like a public service announcement for anyone out there who's a young person that's being bullied. I just wanted to tell you that there's always someone out there that can help you. Reach out to some adult, reach out to someone you trust. Let me just tell you, young person, I was a bullied child too. And let me just also say this, you can get through it, you can get over it, and you can get someone to help you. Don't think that you're alone. Never think that you're alone. And with that, you guys, on to my video. Hey everyone, this is Rachel. Thanks for clicking on my video. And I came in today to talk about a subject that maybe some of us have experienced in our lives and just talk about it as an adult, as a parent, and as someone who was once bullied when I was younger. Now, before I get started, I wanted to tell you about the story that made me want to do this video. I was reading a story about a little 8-year-old boy who committed suicide. And I couldn't believe that someone that young could want to kill themselves. So when you're 8 years old, you're about what, in the third grade? And I was reluctant to click on the story after I saw the headlines because it always breaks my heart when I see some young person like that take their own life. But I clicked on the story, and I'm going to tell you right now, I didn't read all of the story because as I got 3/3 of the way through, it was too much, y'all. So basically, what happened to this little boy is that he had been being bullied. He got beat up really bad in school and knocked unconscious. There's actually a video of showing some kids kicking him, and it was after he was unconscious. It happened in a bathroom. And then a few days later, this little young fella just committed suicide, and I don't even want to go into, everything that happened. This story is out there on the internet, and you can go out and read it. And the reason why that I don't really want to go into it is because whenever it's a child, see y'all, I love kids. I'm one of those type of people. I just love kids. And it's just, oh my God, it breaks my heart when these young people are killing themselves. Now, I started off the video explaining that I too was someone who was bullied as a young child. Now, let me just tell you my experience and go from there. So, when I was younger, as you guys know, I'm only like 4'11" now, so you can imagine how little I was when I was in school. I'm about the height of the average third grader now, third or fourth grader. So I got picked on a lot because I was small. Also, back then, I wore really, really thick glasses. So that's something else the kids pick on you for. And my last name is really odd. So a lot of people would pick on me for my last name. Now, I'm going to say this. I don't think that bullying has changed or has gotten worse. I think what's happened now is there are more ways to bully. You know what I mean? Like nowadays, you can get bullied in school, then you go home, you log on the internet, they're bullying you all over social media, and it's everywhere you turn. When I was younger, you got bullied in school, and then you would go home to your neighborhood, and maybe there was a bully or two there, but you didn't get it from everywhere. Now, the only thing that I could think that saved me when I was younger, thank God for my brothers whooping my ass every chance they got and slinging me all over the house, is because I had two brothers and because I was always fighting with them, I learned how to fight pretty early. So I was the kid that you might bully, but eventually me and you were going to go at it. I was the kid that wouldn't start anything, but I was the kid that if you put your hands on me, it was going to be on. I grew up fighting my brother, so when someone touched me, that was the signal to whoop ass and take numbers. So that's one thing that saved me. I got a reputation of being this type of person. They'll say something like, you might not want to mess with her because, she'll flip out and go crazy on you. Because I was little, my uncles taught me you don't let anybody hit you first. If they look like they're about to hit you, you take the first hit because by you being so little, you might not get a chance to hit again. So while they were, and I think I told this story before, while people were selling wolf tickets, you know how when you're younger and you're about to fight, y'all bumping shoulders, going around in a circle. See, I wasn't the type that was going to do that. While you were bumping shoulders, I would haul off and punch you in the nose or the stomach, and let's get this thing going so we can get it over with so I can get home and do my chores that my mother had for me. I wasn't that type. And actually, I owe it all to my brothers and my uncle. I have two brothers, like I said, that was whooping my ass on the regular at home. So I learned to fight boys. Now, my brother that's next to me is 1 year younger than me, and my next youngest brother is 3 years younger than me. So routinely, I would have to fight for status in the house. Now, I've always mentioned that I also have a little sister, but because me and my brothers are so close in age, we kind of grew up together. And I think at times my brothers forgot that I was a girl. I remember my mother and my dad used to say, my stepdad used to say, you need to remember that she's a girl. You can't be hitting her like that. But I thank them for that because it kind of toughened me up when I got out in the street. I am not one of those type of people that you can talk shit to me and it'll scare me. Now, what I might do is I'll act quiet. And what I'm doing is I'm assessing how I'm going to hit you first. It's best not to, what I've learned is that person who's selling wolf tickets a lot of times can't fight. The loudest in the bunch. A lot of times once you get into battle, you surprise yourself because you end up whooping their ass. So I was the type of person that I was real quiet. So people, they didn't know that I could fight, and it surprised people a lot of time. And over time, people stopped fucking with me because once I got into it, child, my grandmother taught me how to put a couple of bars of soap in a sock and tomahawk whoop a bitch's ass. Y'all, I would be slinging like I was motherfucking Bruce Lee. When I think about it now, it's funny. I can't tell y'all how many times that someone was calling themselves about to jump on Rachel and it didn't end the way they thought it would end. I used to be getting picked on all the time, like from in middle school, never in high school, because by then people had heard that I was the type that would fight back and it was going to be a bloody fight. In other words, my brother taught me that, like I said, my brother and my uncle taught me you hit first. Now, in school, if you hit first, you get suspended. But what would always save me is because I was so little that when we got to the office, the principal would look at me and look at the person who had been bullying me, and they couldn't believe that I hit them first. So I would always get off. I know that sounds bad, y'all, now when I look back on it. But yeah, once we got to the principal's office, I would play the little innocent role, quiet. And plus, I was a nerd back then, very studious, good student. So they would always believe that there's no way that this little girl hit this person first. So I would never get suspended, even though if they had cameras like they do now, I would have been suspended every time because I always hit first. Now, what upsets me nowadays is these kids that are getting bullied. Some of them, they just can't take this bullying, y'all. And this is all jokes aside. And these kids are committing suicide. And having been a person that was bullied, I understand that feeling that they have of feeling alone, that no, none of the kids come to their rescue when the bullying is going on. They feel like they can't go to teachers, that the teachers, if they go to, like, the teachers and the principal, it makes it worse for them. you know um when they go home, they feel like if they tell their parents and their parents come up to the school and those kids are called to the office, that it's going to make it worse for them. I remember one time in particular, this one girl was bullying me when I was in the 7th or 8th grade. Now, this was a bully for me that I kind of thought twice about fighting her. So I let the bullying go on longer than what I would have normally done it. And I remember my mother got wind of the bullying, and it was so bad that my mother wanted to go up to the school and call all the parents in, and we all, they all sit down and work it out. And you know how you're thinking, no, 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 because you're going to make it worse for me. If you get this girl in trouble when I go to school, it's going to be 10 times worse. And I didn't want my mother to get involved. Now, my mother did some things behind the scenes that end up working in my favor, but even with this girl, I ended up having to fight her. Again, I'm not trying to brag, y'all, but I whooped her ass. I think what had happened is because I was bullied, and I once I had a beef with a particular bully, I wanted it to be over. When the fight started, I just literally would just simply go crazy. I would be thinking one of us is going to leave here on a stretcher, and it's not going to be me. And I would do everything that I could think to do, um, to whoop their asses. And like I said, I have my brothers to thank, because not only were they fighting me, but they were teaching me how to fight. One of my brothers had a reputation in the neighborhood that we grew up in. Nobody messed with him. And a lot of times his reputation saved me, but there were times that I had to fight, more times than I care to remember. So it toughened me up. Now, I see that nowadays that some of these kids, they're not equipped with what came natural in me. I think I had something in me that you might push me, you might bully me, but eventually it was going to come to a head. Some kids don't have that in them. And having been a bully child myself, I feel so sorry for them, especially when you hear these kids are committing suicide on a regular basis, um, and it's starting to become, I don't want to say like an epidemic, but you're hearing about it more. And like I said, I don't think that bullying is any worse. The actual act, I don't think is any worse today. I just think that there are more ways to bully a child. We got bullied in school. They might have followed us home, but, maybe on your street you didn't get bullied, so you didn't venture off the street. Now these kids, they go in the comfort of their room, they open up their laptop, or they, you know, get on their phone, and then they got the bully online bullying them. So they're getting it from every every which way. And when you're young, you don't have the coping mechanisms to get through some of that. Some kids just don't. No matter of talking to them by their parents, no matter of, you know, getting them away from the bullies helps them. They just internalize it, and they go into themselves, because they feel like no one understands them, no one is helping them, and they're hurting inside, and they just figure that the only way out for them is to take their own life. And that's where, as a former person who was bullied, I just wish I could help all of them. I wish I could, well, not teach them to fight, y'all, because, in today's age, you can't be fucking people up with tomahawks that your grandmother taught you how to make. Um, because like I told you, my grandmother showed me how to put some bars of soap, 2 bars of soap in a long sock and take it, because she said it can't really be considered a weapon because it's 2 bars of soap in a sock, but I would use it and swing and fuck people up. And it was part of my arsenal when bullies were fucking with me. But you wish that I just wish I could go and talk to them and let them know that there's someone out here who's an adult that understands. Y'all, when I was younger, I was a nerd. I was a bookworm. I had thick glasses. I was a typical little nerd. I was into school. I loved learning. I was the teacher's pet. Everything that, would make kids pick on you. And also, I was little. I remember once, I was in the 4th or 5th grade, and I remember that I was smart, so the math that we had in the 4th or 5th grade was too easy for me. So I remember they sent me to a 6th grade math class during the day. Like instead of taking math with the class that I was in, they would send me to this other class um, to take math. And I remember when I first walked into class, I guess the teacher had told them that there was going to be a student coming in daily to have math with them. And when I came in, she basically said, well, this is a student, little Miss Rachel. She's going to be having, math with us. And I remember once the teacher turned around and resumed teaching, the kids started picking with me. They were like, this little girl, because at the time, I guess they were 6th graders, and I probably looked like that I should have been in the 2nd grade because I was so little. And I remember that right after that class, we had lunch and recess. And I remember I used to go out to the playground, and little kids used to be messing with me. But once again, my brothers kicked in and they would pick with me, but, I would try to get their asses back. So again, me being able to fight and not being scared to fight. See, a lot of kids are also afraid to fight back. They're afraid that if they get into a fight with that bully, they are going to get beat damn near to death. And basically, in today's world, shit like that can happen, because there was a young lady that got beat up in the bathroom and those girls killed her. But I think that what saved me, I guess, is I had a lot of heart. I wasn't afraid to fight. I wasn't afraid to get an ass whooping this time, because one thing my brothers also taught me is if you get your ass beat the first time, the war is not over. They might get you this time, but you catch them unaware and you get them back next time. In other words, my brothers taught me to not give up. Once you in it, it's a battle until you beat their ass and make them respect you. And I guess having grown up with those brothers, and once again, y'all, I want to thank my brothers for it, because when you're a girl, and I'm also the oldest, so I couldn't let my little brothers be beating me up all the time, because it made my respect in the household go lower if I would let them keep whooping me up at home. So I had to learn to whoop them up. Now, I was whooping my brothers' asses just until we peaked into teenagehood, and where they started to get that extra boy strength, and I couldn't handle them anymore, but I would still be trying. They would be slinging me all over the house, but my mother would come downstairs and she'd be like, look, if y'all tear my goddamn furniture up, I'm fucking all of y'all up. But I would still be down there trying. And I think that is the only thing that helped me. So when I think about this little boy, like I said, y'all, I don't even think I did 3/3 of the story. I think I did half. You know how you start reading a story and it's about a child, and as the more you read it and you see how hopeless and helpless that child felt, you already know the outcome, that the child killed themselves. So you can't read the details. You don't need to know how many people failed that child. And then, ultimately the child ended up committing suicide. I didn't want to read the details. You know how you're just sitting here like, God, I wish I could, just be a person for bully kids that says you can get through it. Because like I said, I was bullied a lot. And when I and y'all, I'm not trying I'm gonna stop making light of this. When I say a lot, I mean a lot. I don't think boys found me attractive when I was little, when I was younger, so I was bullied for that. It was just the classic nerd girl, pretty much. And the other girls picked on me. I even had a couple boys pick on me, and surprisingly, I beat them up too. Like I said, even after I get done with this video, I might want to call and thank both my brothers for whooping my ass on the regular and teaching me how to fight, because it really helped me when I went to school. But I don't know, y'all, if you're the parent of a child that is being bullied, you know, when you come home from work and you're cooking dinner or something, have your child come in the kitchen and just sit and talk to you and make it a habit. Because if you're a parent and you make this a habit, you will know the first day that something isn't wrong. Because that daily conversation that you come to have with your child, you'll start to notice something is not right. And then the child, because you've been talking to them every day, they might feel a little more comfortable telling you what's going on and how bad it is for them. So we can kind of save them from themselves, because it's hard being, a young person. It's hard being a teenager. It's just hard nowadays. And also, if you are the parent of a child that your child is a bully, you know, it's your job to work on your child, because these bullies nowadays are causing children to commit suicide. They say that it takes a village to raise a child. It takes a village. It takes a village to raise that child that's being bullied, and it takes a village to raise the bully. As parents, if we see something, um, as teachers, like my daughter's going to school to be a teacher now, we have to pay attention. We have to look at the signs of, if we see kids walking down the street and, one child is bullying the other, step up, say something. I know nowadays people don't want you to say shit to their kids. You can damn near end up getting shot yourself just saying something to somebody's child. But I remember when I grew up, if something happened on my street and adults were around and they saw something between children starting to pop off, they would come out and say something. And a couple of times that saved me, from something that may have been about to jump off. It saved me. Now, what it only did is held it off until another time, but it saved me that time. We got to do better for these kids, because they're not equipped to fight. Not only physically, but mentally, because they're so young. You know, they're so young and they think it's the end of the world and, blah, blah, blah. When I was younger, and I'm going to take it back to myself, when certain things were going on with me, there were times that I felt that I was facing it alone. Now, again, I could fight. So for me, as soon as I got the bully up off my back by engaging in a brawl with them, it would end 99.9% of the time for me. But for those kids who won't turn around and fight back, imagine, y'all, it's never ending for them. And that bothers me. Now, to my knowledge, now I'm speaking as a parent. To my knowledge, neither of my children were ever bullied. When I think about my son, my kids are 8 years apart. So I, was, because I only have the two, I was very in tune with their personalities and what was going on with them, and asking them how their day was, and actually taking the time to listen to what they said was going on in their lives. Because a lot of times we'll ask our kids how was their day, but we're so busy, after work trying to get dinner on the table, get things to prepare for the next work day, the next school day, that we're pretending to listen because we have so much on our plates, So I just want us as parents to, you know, just do our job to help these kids. Because y'all, like I said, I don't want to say it's an epidemic, but it's getting pretty bad out there. And with that, y'all, leave your comments down in the comment section. I don't know if many of you, like me, have no problem admitting that you were a child that was bullied. If you were a bullied child, put it down in the comment section how you kept the bullies up off of you. If you were a bully yourself, put it down in the comment section. Was there ever a come to Jesus moment for you as a bully where you said, you know what, I need to stop this bullying? Or were you just a bully all through school and you're a bully as an adult? I'm just joking, but put it down in the comment section. And we should just make a pact that we're going to try to help these kids, that are out there suffering, y'all. And with that, thank you as always for watching my video, and I will see you in the next one. You guys take care now. Bye-bye.